My name is Noel, and I'm here with my co-host.
Danielle.
All right, and welcome to our first episode of Random Conversations. A little bit of background about why we started Random Conversations. Well, for me personally, I like to have conversations with people. I like to argue, but respectfully. I like to get the back and forth and kind of see what other people's thoughts are on things because I don't walk around thinking that I know everything. I want to know more, and the only way to know more is to listen to what other people have to say and formulate an opinion based off of that.
Yeah, I
What
joined
brought
this.
you?
Yeah, I joined this podcast because I do like to have a lot of conversations. I love the title "Random Conversations." I like to talk about a lot of random facts, a lot of stuff that people don't really take interest in. I like to talk about. So basically, that's why I'm here. I think he likes to talk about the same type of stuff I do. So that's why we're both doing this together.
All right. So with that being said, let's get started with the episode.
Yeah. So we're both sports fans. I'm more so a football fan, but I think you like both football and NBA.
I like football and NBA, but I lean more towards football.
Football? Okay, so NBA season is in full effect. Playoffs, we're in the final, well, not the finals, but the finals of the Eastern Conference and the Western
So it
Conference.
might as well be the finals. She a Knicks fan, and they treated every single game of the playoffs, every win, as if they won the championship.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because we haven't been there in like 25 years.
Yeah, but
You
it's
got to treat
embarrassing.
every win. You got to treat every win like it's your last.
It's embarrassing. Act like you've been there. Y'all
We
been
haven't
there. I mean,
been there
y'all been
in
there
years. I was a
1973.
child since we've been there.
Yeah, you were a child in
Yeah.
1973?
No, I'm talking about the Eastern Conference Finals. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I had a feeling they weren't going to get past this anyway. So, how do you feel about what's going on? If you want to start with Oklahoma or you want to start with the Knicks?
Well, first
Let's start with Oklahoma.
First, I want to say something about the playoffs in general.
Yeah.
Like this playoff has been really exciting.
Yeah.
The majority
It
of
has.
the games have been really close and spectacular.
Yeah.
Not so much what happened to OKC last night where they got blasted by 42 points.
Notice
but-
they always have a game like that because didn't that happen in the last series with Denver?
Well, it's kind of. I think Denver had a game where they blasted OKC, and OKC had a game where they blasted them.
They
so
always
it's kinda
getting blasted,
Back,
yeah.
back and forth. But that OKC series, I feel like OKC, to me, has been the prohibitive favorite coming out of the West. As soon as my Lakers bounced, I'm a Laker fan, so I'm rooting for them regardless. But once they left, I really didn't see anybody that would challenge them. OKC, the knock on them was their youth, and the media was leaning on that, and not really taking in what they seen with their eyes and really analyzing the game because they have no flaws. They play great defense and they play phenomenal offense. They have ball movement, they have depth, they have everything. Great coaching, right? So what they did to the Wolves in the first two games, I'm not surprised. I'm more surprised that they allowed themselves to get blown out in game 3. But the Wolves they knew that they couldn't lose game 3. They couldn't go down 0-3. So they gave them their best punch. So now they know that, and I think they'll adjust, and I think they'll take game 4.
I don't really care about the Western Conference, to be honest with you. I do believe Oklahoma is going to come out and go to the finals. But let's talk about the Eastern Conference with what's going on with the Pacers and the Knicks. I'm just happy we're there. That's all I got to say. I'm just happy we made it there because I didn't think that we were going to get through Boston. But if the Knicks if they don't get their stuff together and at least win the next game in this series, they're out of here. I had them written off since game 1 because I have no faith.
That's
But
ridiculous.
I know. But but if they don't get their stuff together, the next game, it's gonna be curtains, and it's gonna be sad. The city's gonna lose some of the energy and all that vibrato that they had for the last couple of weeks as they've been winning. But I'm just happy we made it here. I do want to mention that I think them getting to the conference finals saved Tibbs his job.
I think that that's a bad idea in the long run. I feel like they could achieve a lot more with a better coach at the helm. Tibbs likes to run his players into the ground.
Yeah.
And even if, and I heard it said, and I agreed with the take, that even if they do survive this round, at the rate that he's running his players into the ground,
They're not
I
gonna
don't
be
think they're
healthy
going to
for
be
the
able to
finals.
withstand
Yeah.
a
Oklahoma.
full powered Oklahoma City in the finals. I mean, the T-Wolves could win, but I'm just saying for the record that I believe that OKC is coming
Me
out of
too.
the West.
Me too.
I don't think that the T-Wolves are ready. OKC look ready. They look primed, and they're gonna. Whoever comes out of the East is just gonna run into a brick wall because they don't have a chance.
Yeah. So if the Pacers come out, I really don't care.
Yeah. I mean, like we were talking a couple of days ago, and I told you the Pacers always tend to field a competent team, right? I like their team. Their team is, and the problem with this series, and to the benefit of the viewers, is that the two teams are very similar. They're both tough-minded teams, and they never out of it, and they never quit.
Yeah.
That's why all the games normally go to the wire, right? But I think Tibbs' strategy of running his 6 players into the ground is not a winning strategy. And you see that on the opposite side, the Pacers, you might not have Halliburton with the gaudy numbers that Brunson has, but he still has great numbers. And
it's sporadic. It's not consistent.
Right. And the team itself, from number 5 through 8, they're all contributing greatly to the team's success. They definitely
have a better bench than the Knicks. They definitely do. But if it's a Oklahoma City, Indiana Pacers final, how do you think the NBA is going to benefit from that? No big market teams. A lot of people is going to lose interest because let me tell you, a lot of people outside of New York are looking at New Yorkers and how we react to all the wins. And they like seeing stuff like that. Either they ridicule it or they like it. They're tuning in to what New Yorkers are going to do once the Knicks win a game. It's like anticipation, like who's going to climb up the billboard this time, you know? I think I don't know if it's going to be a lot of ratings because, you know, the NBA is struggling with their ratings. I don't think it's going to be a ratings juggernaut, but, you know, these playoffs have been fabulous. It's nice to see different teams, even though I did wish Denver beat Oklahoma City just so Russell Westbrook could get his first ring. Yeah, I would have liked to see that. Nice or Jimmy Butler. But yeah, how do you feel it's going to affect the NBA if it's an Oklahoma City Indiana Pacer final?
I'm of two minds about it because at one side of it, I kind of see what you're saying and kind of agree with the fact that the casual fan isn't going to lock in.
You're like, who's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? I don't even know.
Because his game is not particularly spectacular. Right? He doesn't play above the rim a lot. I personally like the mid-range, but a lot of people, like the viewers, don't really like it. But I think the real basketball fan who enjoys the game itself would like to see OKC in the finals. I think good basketball needs to be rewarded, right?
That's true, too.
Ultimately, I think...
But the Knicks, I mean...
The Knicks play hard. The Knicks play hard, right? But they have their flaws.
Yeah.
We forgot that when they were playing the Celtics, the big knock against them was that they gave up the most threes in the league, right? And now that's coming to bite them in the ass because whereas the Celtics were so three heavy that they buried themselves in bricks, the Pacers are more balanced. So when those threes come open, they're cashing in, right? So they're getting wide open looks. Like how many looks did Neesmith get where there was nobody there? Neesmith,
that was killing me.
And that's gonna kill them again. They're gonna keep seeing those wide open threes because that's in their DNA this year. They just can't cover the three well, right? They just got lucky that the Celtics weren't knocking them down, right? And that was their entire offense. So that's what killed them. But I on the other side of the question, I think what makes the NBA more intriguing this year, well, in the last 2 years, I would say, is the parity. It's kind of getting like the NFL where every year there's a different champion. Right?
Yeah, I guess you could say.
So, you know, everybody feels like their team is in it.
Well, not the NFL, because we didn't see the Chiefs win like 3 or...
Well, I mean, but predominantly over the years, you don't really see a lot of like back to back. And then there's always that 1 or 2 teams that go from like last to first and they hit the playoffs. Look at the Commanders last year, right?
That was a good story.
Right. So, you always get those stories consistently in the NFL because of the way the draft works and stuff like that. And I feel like the NFL gets more out of their late round draft picks than the NBA does. It's like outside of the first round, you might get 1 or 2 gems in the second round, like Jokic, but those are like aberrations. That's
and
not
Brunson was a second round too.
Right. See, but those are aberrations, right? You don't really get a lot of superstars coming from the second round, right? Whereas in the NFL, you'll get Hall of Famers in the third and
undrafted,
right? And most notably, like the sixth, like if you got talent, they'll find you, right? So I like the parity. So in a sense, I would like to see OKC in there as well, just to keep the parity going, right? Keep it keep it fresh. You don't know.
I guess
right at the beginning of the off season who's
as a
gonna win
basketball
next.
purist, you want to see that. But if the NBA
Well,
was
as a
more,
basketball purist, I want to see my Lakers. I always want to see my Lakers win. I don't give a damn about OKC when it comes to my Lakers. I don't care, right? But
Okay.
outside of that, if the Lakers can't win it, then I hope somebody else wins it. I hope it's new. I hope they keep it fresh. But I think New York being in the playoffs was a big boon to the overall NBA ratings and stuff like that. It's just fun, and I guess we're a little bit
and a lot of New York haters are coming out.
we're a little bit we're prisoners of the moment because we live in the city, right?
Yeah.
So we're around that energy, right? And it just feels good. The city feels alive, more alive than it usually
Well, it
does.
kind of died down.
Because going down 0-2 there. It's like somebody let the air out of the balloon.
Yeah, like,
right?
man.
Yeah.
They should have won game one. Neesmith being open so many times. He shot like, 5 threes? I was like, oh, you gotta be. I said, this is it. This is it. And when Halliburton shot that 3, I was like, I just sat there. I was just frozen.
But that goes back to the Knicks give up so many threes. Because when he drove into the lane and he sucked everybody in.
I hope they didn't exert all their energy into Boston. Now they can't really face this Pacers team.
I don't think so because they didn't look tired. They didn't look like unfocused. It just looked like they started to unravel a little bit. And nobody plays a perfect game from start to finish, right? There's going to be ebbs and flows in the game. There's going to be turnovers and whatnot, right? It's just who makes those turnovers at the inopportune times.
Yeah.
And I think the Knicks did that. But one thing I did notice when I was watching the games is that Karl Anthony Towns, when he makes a concerted effort to get in the post, he can dominate in the post because Miles
Everybody
Turner has nothing for him.
Around him plays better too.
Obi Toppin has nothing for him, and I feel if they make an effort to post him more, he should get 60% of his shots should come from the post.
You know what's crazy? I was thinking about this the other day. Did you know Stephen A. Smith wanted Tyrese Halliburton on the Knicks?
Well, you can see why.
Yeah.
He's a great point guard.
And guess who they traded instead of him?
Who's that?
Toppin. Well, not traded, drafted. They drafted Obi Toppin.
Yeah, because of his measurables and his athleticism. But that's all he has, right? So I think that's just another feather in the cap of not really getting too caught up in people's measurables because a lot of those players, they never translate long term. It's like once they get that first knee injury or anything like that, all of a sudden their game goes to shit. They don't make, like, look at Blake Griffin, Dwight Howard, players of that
LaMarcus
nature.
Aldridge.
LaMarcus Aldridge, he had that nice little 15-foot jumper and stuff like that. I think Glenn
But
Robinson,
he had a lot of injuries, if I'm not mistaken.
he did. He did. But he was money for a while. That 15-footer was guaranteed. I think Mitchell Robinson needs to go and try to maybe work out with him in the offseason to get.
He needs to work on his free throws.
If he can get a consistent 15-footer, I think that would be really
he
good.
would be great.
Right.
The Knicks would never trade him. Never trade him.
He's the key. He's the X factor.
He is the X factor. That's
X
why
factor.
he's still on the team. Everybody that they drafted, majority of them, they traded away. He's still there. Him and Deuce McBride. But I also was looking into the everybody's talking about this, the Diddy and the Diddy trial.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about Cassie's testimony?
See, I'm afraid to get canceled. Nah, screw it. I'm gonna say it anyway.
Oh no,
because
I can edit this out.
My thing, yeah, I'm gonna say it. My thing with the Cassie trial is, after hearing her testimony and everything, it sounds like she was with it until she wasn't with it, right? It sounds that she was a willing participant in setting this stuff up, right? With the text messages and whatnot.
Remember, allegedly is your best friend. Allegedly is your best friend.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going off of what was said in court. I don't know anything, right? I don't know nothing, right? I'm just going off of what's said in court and what they have on the shade room. All right. So don't hold me to nothing, right? Yeah. Right. Hey, people be out here swearing on Wikipedia, so but
I used to be that type of person. Look, Wikipedia is the truth.
Yeah,
until I learned that it's like, no, you just gotta Google.
That's what I ain't even gonna bring that up. But like I was saying, I think Cassie, I think Cassie, she's a victim.
She is a victim, yeah.
And I think the strategy of the prosecution, is that they're trying to paint the situation that, even though her text messages looks like she's setting up these things
yeah.
on her own and stuff like that. And she wants to do these things. They're trying to say that, she was just afraid to get hurt physically, and she was trying to do anything just to keep him happy.
Yeah, to appease him.
Right. But I could see it from both sides, because I think, this is just me, my opinion. I think that initially when she got with Diddy, I don't know if it was for love. I think it was she was trying
to get ahead in her career,
trying to push her career forward, right?
But
she was also young.
Yeah, I think eventually, because not everything, I don't think every aspect of their relationship was bad, because she was with the man for like 10 years. I feel like eventually she did fall in love with him, or certain parts of him. And her initiating freak-offs was to appease him and to make sure she stays on his good side. But she also had that love for him as well. Because I think she did say on the stand that she did love him.
She did say that.
Yeah.
And then when they were talking about that moment in time when he raped her, remember they said that they had broken up, and then he invited her to dinner, and then they went to dinner, and then after dinner they went back to her place. And while at her place, he forced himself on her. But then a week later, she met up with him and had consensual sex. So you can see how people looking at that as they're trying to understand the psyche of someone that would, you broke up with him for a reason, right? And from what I hear from women, you don't wake up one morning and say, I'm going to break up with this person. There's normally stuff that's built over time. And you probably been over the relationship long before you finally broke up with the individual, right? So to go from that mindset to break up with him, and then you meet up with him because she said she was trying to get closure, and then you're in trying to get closure, he rapes you, and then you go back a week later, and then you have consensual sex with him.
Yeah,
it is hard for a lot of people to kind of understand where exactly she's coming from.
Yeah,
right. I don't claim to be in her mind. I don't understand the mind of a domestic violence victim or anything like that. But for me, looking from the outside looking in, it just seems weird. The situation is just weird. And then with the Kid Cudi situation, because Diddy had hooked them up together so that they could work on music together.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he brought them together so that they could work on music, right? And in them working together, then a relationship blossomed, right? They only dated for like a month, right?
Kind of similar to her and her current husband, because he brought him in as a personal trainer.
You see what I'm saying? Like this, it's just so weird when you unpack everything.
Yeah.
It's like he's setting you up with these guys, but to help you, right? He's trying to.
But she's like, I'm gonna get help in a different type of way.
It's weird. I don't want to say that she has ulterior motives. I'm just stating the facts.
Yeah.
But from me, from the outside looking, I just can't discern what was her thought process in dealing with doing these things.
From him, I guess he really trusted her around these men, because why would you set her up with other men to work with when you're not in the vicinity? Don't you think and then she's a beautiful girl. Any man's going to want to try to shoot their shot a little bit, even though they know Diddy's in the background. It just blew up in Kid Cudi's face because allegedly...
Almost literally.
Yeah. Allegedly, he broke into his house. He locked the dog up in the bathroom, opened up the Christmas gifts, and put a Molotov cocktail in his car and blew up the car. Yeah.
That's crazy. And they said, well, he must have lived in one of those nice little gated communities because he didn't lock the door.
Yeah, I think he
left it wide open.
A lot of those celebrities in Hollywood, they live in gated communities.
Yeah, and that's fine. But you know who also lived in a nice little gated community?
Who?
O.J. Simpson, and he went and allegedly, killed somebody and their lover, right? And he was living right next door to you in a nice little gated community. I would lock my door. You don't know who's coming in. You don't know who lived next door. Bill Cosby.
If I ever strike rich and all that, I'm still locking my doors. I make sure my doors are locked all the time.
Because people make the mistake of thinking they know a celebrity because they follow them on Instagram.
Yeah, you don't know. Right? You don't know that person at all.
Or TikTok. You got to understand that everything they put out is purposeful. Right? They trying to get jobs. They trying to get new opportunities and stuff like that. So you don't really know these people. And I feel like people think they do. And this is where situations like with Diddy, because they have a lot of documentaries out with Diddy, and a lot of other women came out saying that he did things to them and stuff like that, and they're like so surprised because what they see on TV is not what they experienced. But I'm like, you really don't know these people.
Well, on TV, you could see that he was a jerk.
I mean,
look at what he made them people do on Making the Band.
Yeah.
Do you remember the incident with his son's college football coach? Didn't he hit him over the head with a cowbell or something like that?
Oh wow!
Because
I never heard about this.
Allegedly, he hit him over the head with a cowbell because he didn't put him on the team. UCLA.
Oh wow!
Yeah, man is he's different. That's all I got to say about that. I don't want nobody suing me.
Yeah, but Kid Cudi, it was weird. When he went to go testify, all I could think of is, this is a photo op for him. Because when he came out the car in the jeans like and the jacket, and then he pulls the cigarette out afterwards, I'm like, dude,
he's definitely doing this for show.
I'm like, you treating this like, you're not treating it with the seriousness that you
So that
should.
means he was smoking since inside the car. Like
no,
he was.
It didn't even look like, it looked like he just pulled like a fresh cigarette out.
Oh, he did?
And he literally smoked it from the car.
All right, he could be stressed.
I guess so. I don't know.
He did seem like he was a little bit stressed over the situation.
I mean, he tried to sound tough though, because he was talking like the way he was recalling the situation between him and Diddy and the way he was talking to him on the phone. He was like, "I'm coming right now. Where you at? Where you at?" I'm like, I'm pretty sure it wasn't where you at. It was like, I'm coming, sir.
I hope you're not there.
Thank God he's not here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel that he was juicing it up a little bit, but I didn't like the way he appeared to be treating it when he came out of the car. Only because the media's been covering it in such a way that they're painting Diddy out to be
a monster,
right? So I feel that he didn't treat the situation with the type of gravity and responsibility that he should have. I think he was just doing.
He said, "I have to do this."
Publicity out of this thing. Yeah.
He's like, "I have to do this. I'm gonna just go ahead and do it." I don't think it's free publicity because he has a multitude of fans like around the world. I don't think he's doing it for publicity. I think he was just doing it just to get it over with. All right, you called me up. I got to do this. It is what it is. You think he really wanted to go up on that stand? I don't think so.
I don't know. But
I don't think so.
I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Because he did say that him and Diddy got played by Cassie.
He did say that.
He did say that.
And that's another
He's
thing.
like, I'm not trying to get in y'all mess.
And that's another thing. Because as soon as she got with Kid Cudi, she started saying all the things that he was doing to her, right? How he was hitting her and all that stuff. And I was just like, what is she trying to do here between these two guys? And she almost got this man blown up, right?
Yeah.
So I really don't know what to think of her in this situation right now. I just hope that justice is served and the people who need to be punished are punished. Because I don't know. And I'm not
anyway, back to our regular lives.
Pull a line from Stephen A. Smith. I don't know and I don't pretend to know.
Yeah. Back to our regular lives. I don't know if you saw this, but there's an assembly person that's trying to make New Yorkers work a 4-day work week. I like that idea.
I mean, I like that idea too. But
I mean, who wouldn't like that idea?
I like that idea, but it won't be long before New Yorkers start complaining that we need a freaking 4-day weekend because the 3-day weekend is too short.
No, I don't think they would complain about a 3-day. No.
Because what's the first thing that people are gonna say when we come back from work on Tuesday?
Oh, I should have had an extra day.
Yeah, it was too short, right? It's always gonna be too short. I mean, I'll take the 3-day weekend. I'm not against it at all. And the way this city is going with the bike lanes and all that stuff, they think they're European already, right? They've been doing it in Europe for years, so you know.
And it works over there, and people are happier over there.
There's a model.
New Yorkers are like one of the most miserable set of people because of the grind, having to work 5 days a week, and you have to deal with all these other people trying to get to one place at the same time as you, always in your way. You know, that's why we got to be like.
But yeah, I think that 4-day work week is that 4-day work week is a long ways away. They've been talking about it for a while. It's been like 3 years I've been hearing about this 4-day work week. Yeah,
well, an assembly person is like, I'm tired of this, and I want my people to have a 4-day work week. Yeah, well, but how is that going to equate to like all the hours that you're supposed to be working and getting paid for?
Yeah, you think
are we going to make our work days longer?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather a longer work day.
Nah.
Wait, actually no, because I have a kid.
That's
not gonna work.
Yeah, how is that gonna
work?
How is everything will have to change.
Yeah.
From the schooling hours to after school and all that stuff. Everything
like,
is gonna
I can't
get
pick up my
kid
at 7:00 And daycares, I didn't even think about these things. Daycare might be more expensive because they have to stay later.
Yeah, it's
So there's pros and cons to it.
There's gonna be a
for
domino
people who
effect.
don't have kids.
It's gonna be lit. It's gonna be.
That's my best friend, by the way. She's here for moral support. I said, "Oh my God, I'm so happy you're coming along with me. I need moral support because it's both of our first times doing something like this. Never in a million years did I think I would be starting a podcast.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, I've been trying to do this since 2020.
Yeah.
But that's part of the reason why I didn't think it will work out. I think everything happened when it was supposed to. Right?
Yeah.
Because when we started talking about it initially that year, I wasn't even really thinking about getting back into a podcast. But then, we were talking a lot in lunch and stuff like that. And I was just like, this kind of makes sense. I hope she would be down for it. Right? And
because I'm usually behind the scenes. I'm usually behind the scenes. I like to edit and all that stuff. I was like, put me on the camera. Even though I did go to school for broadcast journalism, but that's neither here nor there.
Finally putting that degree to good use.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's everything. We don't want to do too long of an episode because we know
that's not everything.
What?
There's something that I really wanted to talk about, and I guess it's because I have a daughter, so it kind of hit home to me.
Oh, yes.
Right? There was a situation in Atlanta where a young lady by the name of Amaya.
I don't know her name, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
She was run over by a friend while they were on their way to King of Diamonds Club, right? So the way the story goes, as I understand it, she went to a friend's house to pregame, and that's where she met up with all her other friends. And it was like she was having a good time. She was twerking and having a good time. And then the girl who ultimately ran her over, I think her name is Alexandria, she had an attitude and she was like, let's just get to the club, right? So they finally pack up into cars. Alexandria is I believe she was in like a black SUV. A bunch of the guys that were there packed up into a red truck. And then she went into a silver car with a few of her other good friends. So something happened en route to where she was texting her guy friend that, I should have rode with you, right? Because the vibes is off, right? And then they stop at a light and she gets out of the silver car and starts twerking in front of the black SUV. So, and I think the person that was driving the black SUV was set off by this and then ran her over, dragged her for a few feet, and then left her body in the street. Right?
If the vibes are off, why you decided to do all of that?
Right. So there's a lot that still needs to be uncovered about.
Because if the vibes are off for certain people, I'm not doing nothing extra.
Right. And that's my thing. Because, yes, she's a victim and stuff like that. But I think, what would I tell my daughter in this situation? Like, I would show it to her. I'm like, my first thought is to let her know that everybody is not your friend. You know what I'm saying? Our first inclination is to be chummy with people and try to get in good, especially if you feel like they're part of the in crowd. Yeah. But everybody's not your friend. And to that point, the girls that were in the silver car with her, because everyone left the girl in the black SUV left the scene of the crime, came back 2 hours later with her husband. The cops showed up. One of the guys from the red that was in the red truck, they all came back. Guy came out, started recording. He saw somebody in the street, and his first inclination was to record, which blows my freaking mind.
Well, that's the times we live in.
I'm like, but call 911 before you record. I don't understand. Like, well, how is that helping anybody? Then he realized that it was her. The cops come, they're talking to the girls, and the girls try to play it off like that girl in the street, they don't know her. Mm-hmm. Right? Meanwhile, some of the girls in that silver car were her friends going back years. Mm-hmm. Right? And they tried to pretend like they didn't know who struck her. Meanwhile, they were parked next to the black SUV when the black SUV ultimately ran her over. So they saw the whole thing unfold. Right? So it just speaks to people knowing who they are hanging around with, the type of people they're hanging around with, and to be able to.
No, she died.
No, she died. She passed away.
She died.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was a wild story. I'm like, these are supposed to be your friends. Mm-hmm. Y'all going to a club and have a good night. And then you just get run over by one of them.
Maybe jealousy.
I don't know. It's interesting when you think about it. I'm thinking, because I was thinking about it on the way here. I was thinking what could have set her off. I was like, maybe one of the guys, Alexandria, maybe had something for one of the guys, and one of the guys had that same guy had something for her, and there's some jealousy. I don't know. None of that has been reported yet, but it's so messed up that these are your friends. Y'all going to the club, and then not only did you get run over, but they all tried to cover it up, and they denied they even knew you.
Now you think is this a setup?
I don't know. You said when we spoke about it a couple of days ago, you stated that it reminded you of another particular story.
Oh yes, the girl Shanquella Robinson, the one that went to Mexico. Is it Jamaica or Mexico? With her friends, and I think they beat her up in the hotel, and she died.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, it reminded me of that same situation. Like, what's going on? Because I never really used to hear about these stories. There's another instance where I think the girl got locked up in the freezer, and she died of hypothermia because she froze to death, allegedly. That she allegedly died from hypothermia. There's like a lot of instances, and I'm like, what makes people want to do these things to your so-called friends? If you don't want to be friends with that person anymore, if you're jealous of that person, just separate yourself. Mm-hmm. Why do you have to go all the way to killing someone?
Yeah. It's crazy. You just threw your life away for what?
And I don't think some of these people are locked up for it. Yeah, they just got away with it. I think allegedly.
I don't know what the situation is with the girl in Mexico, but right now, Alexandria.
I think the family was trying to fight it because they weren't doing anything with the people that were on the trip with her. Even though there's evidence, allegedly, that these girls beat her up, beat her to death, they're not doing anything about it. Well, unless I have to do some research and find out. Yeah. I'm going to bring my laptop next time.
Well, I know Alexandria, the woman who ran over the girl in Atlanta. Yeah,
she got arrested. Oh,
she's currently locked up right now, and
like, what drives you to do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I'm not doing that. If I'm your friend, I'm your friend.
Well, this is what I'm saying too.
And you got to teach your daughter about when she gets of age, about the people she's around.
Yeah, you got to be careful. And
some girls are vicious.
Road rage is real too. People would just be losing their damn mind in a split second. And I was telling you, because you were telling me about an instance where you had cursed that guy out, and you was going crazy. And I'm like, yo.
But I'm not going to come out. I'm not going to drive, like, get out your car so I could run you over. I'm not doing that.
And I was telling you need to watch that movie Unhinged with Russell Crowe. I was like, once you watch that movie, you ain't going to be saying nothing to nobody. You're just going to be like, all right,
I usually don't say anything to anybody, but he just made me so mad that day. I don't know what came. I got to tell you the story. I don't know what came over me. I was just like, what the is your problem? I just got so mad. Yeah. Right.
I mean, road rage will do that to you, though. It's like.
But I'm not running nobody over.
Perfectly sane
I'm cognizant enough to know that if I run this person over and they potentially lose their life, I'm going to jail. And I'm not fit for jail. So I'm not running anybody over. Right. She's obviously fit for jail. Yeah. Because she knew what she was doing. Ain't no way you can tell me you if she's twerking in front of your car, tell her to move. That's it.
I think some people just see red and they lose all control. I'm not trying to excuse away what she did. She deserves to go to prison. And
alleged, if she alleged, everything is alleged. Yeah,
if she she the video, she ran that
alleged.
She ran that girl over. Well, according to the video, what I saw, right? And if that's the case, she deserved to be hit with like the fullest, the heaviest sentence that they could give for that crime, because that was crazy. It was, you could have drove around her because it was a big street. It wasn't like Lenox Road in Brooklyn where it's like narrow. It's basically like a one-way street that they split into two lanes. It was big enough for her to go around, and it just was. I guess she was just set off by what she did, and I don't know what happened, what transpired in the house leading up to them going to the club and ultimately her getting run over. But whatever happened between then and there caused her to react the way that she reacted. Now, people always like, so if I'm a type of person, I want to know what happened in that time frame, right? The devil's in the details. I want to know what happened because for every action, there's a reaction, right? So I kind of want to know what set it off. But when you ask those questions in a lot of situations, people think that you're siding with
the person who did it.
Yeah. It's like, no, but I want to understand. It's like when when Diddy kicked Cassie in the face, right? And I was just like, damn, that's crazy. Like he wilding for that, right? Because I got a mom, I got a wife, I got a daughter. And I would never want to see a video of them getting kicked in the face. I'll go crazy. I'll freaking lose it, right? But immediately my mind went to, I wonder what happened to make him.
No, that's inexcusable.
No, I'm not excusing it, but I'm curious to what made him.
She tried to leave a freak off. That's what happened.
She was trying to leave the freak off?
Yeah, she didn't want to do it. And I think he was sleeping and she was trying to escape. That's what, it's either he was sleeping or he was in the shower. That's why he was in a towel. She was trying to escape and he realized that she was gone. And that's when he came out in the hallway. He found her in the hallway and did what he did.
Yeah. See, I just want the whole story. I'm not saying that because he kicked her. Regardless of what, she could have cursed him out. She could have slapped him. She could have did all types of stuff. It doesn't justify him
kicking her in the
drop
face.
kicking her in the face.
But you just want to know every aspect.
I just want to know. I want to know. I feel like people are so quick to.
Curious minds want to know. Right.
I feel like people are so quick to take a 30-second clip and automatically rush to a judgment. And you see it a lot of the times with a lot of things. Like, take for instance the Johnny Depp case, right? And it turns out that chick was crazy, right? Or with Jonathan Majors, right?
Yeah.
When you start finding out things more and more, it don't seem like what it was. Like he was running from the chick for blocks. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I just want to know. I just want to know everything that I can know about a situation. I want to know about it because then I can actually formulate a real, opinion on it, right? But with that being said, there's no justifying drop kicking a woman in her face. I mean, she was already down on the ground. She was not a threat, nothing like that. She wasn't attacking you. And to do that is another level, to kick someone in the face while they're on the ground, especially a woman. Like, I can't put myself in the frame of mind of a man that would do that to a woman. That's crazy. Yeah. So that's where I'm at with that. We talked all of that just to come back around to Cassie and Diddy again, but
I mean, it's relevant right now. At least. And you could compare a lot of situations to what she's going through and what he's going through. So.
You know what? I wanted to ask you. Are you familiar with the Remy Ma Papoose situation?
Oh, yeah.
You saw what just came out?
My friend, she keeps sending me stuff on Instagram. She's on live. Watch her live. He's on live. Watch his live. You see what just came out where he said that he wrote all her music? I don't think so.
You don't think so? Oh, well, Papoose and Remy Ma are going through a tumultuous divorce right now.
Well, he just filed, I heard. He just filed papers like a couple days ago.
And he's saying that she was cheating on him.
Yeah. It's basically a he said, she says. You know how they say it's three sides. He said, her side, his side, and the truth. So he's making allegations that she cheated on him. She's like, well, you don't know Papoose and you don't know the real him. And I'm not just going to say, what she said? He's a bad husband because he wasn't or something like that.
She said that he was a good husband and a good father.
She's like, if he was a good husband, why am I leaving? Why did I decide to take myself out the situation? Well, basically, we don't know everything that happened.
Well, didn't we have a conversation not too long ago about people falling out of love?
Yeah.
And it's like to no fault of anybody's. Sometimes a relationship runs its course.
Yeah.
And that could literally be the situation with Remy Ma and Papoose. Their relationship just ran its course in her eyes. Because it seemed like he wasn't ready to leave her.
No, he wasn't.
It seems like her actions kind of dictated him seeking divorce. But it seemed like he was trying to hold on to a relationship more than she was.
Yeah, he probably thought, we're just separated for the moment. We'll get back. Because now he's with the other girl, Clarissa Shields, the boxer. And Remy was like, you have no idea what you're setting yourself up for. She's still young. She's not even 30 yet. Or she just turned, I think she's either 29 or 30. But she's still young. Papoose is pushing 50, which I just found out. I said, damn.
He don't look 50.
He
though.
don't look 50
he
at
don't
all.
look like he aged at all.
No, he looks the same from when what's that Touch It remix video? That's when I got introduced to Papoose.
I guess I'm gonna start wearing fitties once I hit 40 because clearly that's what's keeping him young.
I'm like, I think she said he's 47.
How old is Clarissa Shields?
You want to Google?
It's like I'm curious now.
Yeah, I think she's younger than us. I think she's either 29 or 30. She's 30. She just
and Papoose is how old? I'm putting our friend to work.
Yeah, that's like 47.
I don't got enough
That's
fingers.
47. He's 47.
So he's 17 years older than her.
Yeah.
Do you
that's
think-
kind of crazy.
Let me ask you: is that an acceptable age gap?
I don't know.
It's your opinion. Do you think that's an acceptable age gap?
I don't know if I could date a 47-year-old. I'm gonna
Do
be
you think
honest
that's an
with you.
acceptable age gap?
It's legal.
Oh, yeah.
It is legal, yeah.
But it's kind of.
But would you do it?
Personally, no. I think it's weird.
Because y'all have nothing in common.
Right.
When you were born, you were damn near 20.
Well, I asked that because you see.
When we
see
were
it all the
born,
time.
he was damn near 20.
Yeah.
You could put it like that.
Well, I asked the question because I see it happening all the time with
The
celebrities,
age gaps.
especially
Look
the
at what's
men.
his name, Bill Belichick and his girlfriend.
Yeah, that's crazy, and no one's giving him any.
That man could be her grandfather.
No one's giving him any time. Like everybody's kind of just. I mean, well, they said UNC was kind of giving him some pushback, but only because they felt that she was interfering in football operations, right?
Well, yeah, that's understandable.
But no one was really like dragging him in the media. He maybe got it for like one day, but look
Yeah.
at Shannon Sharp with that little
Oh,
19-year-old.
yeah.
And as crazy as the Shannon Sharp age gap is, Bill Belichick got him by like maybe like another like decade or two because
Yeah.
Bill Belichick is in his 70s and the girl's like what,
24.
25. But it seems pretty normalized. I mean, look at Jay-Z and Beyonce when
Jay-Z
they
and
got together.
Beyonce, Russell Simmons and Kamora Lee Simmons.
Mm-hmm. It's like everywhere you look, you can find an example of a male, a prominent male figure. You know, if they've been married, they kind of leave that situation and get with somebody younger.
Way younger,
Or
yeah.
Yeah. So I just
Michael
wanted to,
Jordan did that.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Murphy did that. There's a lot of them that do that.
What is your opinion on why do you think it is that a lot of these prominent male
Not
figures
even prominent
get with
male
these younger
figures,
women?
males, period.
Why
Because
do
you
think
don't
this?
have to be rich in order to leave your significant other for a younger person.
Yeah, a lot of people need green cards. I'm just saying. So yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Males do that. I guess they want something younger and fresher. I guess, like you say, you fall out of love with that person. That person's not doing it for you anymore. You change. A lot of males, when they get older, they still have the mindset that they're younger. Some of them don't grow into the age that they are in. A lot of them think like, oh, I still look like I'm 35. Let me go get me a girl that's younger, to make them feel better. A lot of them do that to make themselves feel better.
It's an ego boost.
It is an ego boost. They don't really care about how it's affecting the person they've been with all this time because they're just thinking about themselves at this point.
Well, how do you think it affects the person that they left, that they went and got somebody younger?
Oh, it shatters them.
You think so?
Yes.
I never thought about it from
Yes,
the
it will
woman's perspective.
shatter them.
The only reason why I never thought about it like that is because if the relationship is over, I mean, I guess for me, every relationship that's been over, I'm like, it's over. I don't care who you get with. I don't care what you do. Right? If you get with somebody way younger than me or somebody way older than me, I'm like, either you wanted somebody younger than me because I was too old and I couldn't keep up.
I don't think women do that a
older than me,
lot.
I'm not mature enough. But I'm not really psychoanalyzing myself based off of their next relationship.
No, if I were to be married to somebody that's my age and he left me for somebody that's like 20 years younger, I'm gonna be like, what the hell? What's wrong with me?
But you wouldn't ask that. You wouldn't ask that question when you're going through the divorce.
Of course I would. No.
Like
No.
you think that question would only be triggered by him getting a younger woman?
To me, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I'm like, what the hell? Like, well, what? You guys don't have anything in common. So what was the reason?
Well, you know what they say all the time? They say men don't mature until what? They like
43.
43 or whatever.
43,
right?
yeah.
And I like like anybody who knows me knows I'm a
And you
big
know
ass
what?
freaking kid. Like I love to joke around. I love to play. I feel that in order to stay young, you need that. You can't be too serious. You can't be too stiff in life. And I feel that I work in a field that's predominantly women, and you just see the difference in maturity between my male coworkers and my female coworkers. We all get the job done, but it's just that sometimes you guys can be so like driven and focused, and I can see why women have closed the gap in terms of being in the professional space and the wages and stuff like that, because
Wages will still have a way to go,
but you closing it.
Yeah.
And in a lot of relationships today, the women are making more money than the men. So I can see why, because women are just they're a lot more driven.
Because we've been oppressed for so long.
And that's the thing. Women's role in society and their mentality in society has changed so much, but men haven't changed. It's like we still play all day. We still behave in the same manners. We take things for granted, like we always have and stuff like that. But it's you're competing against someone who's just like, I'm getting to that finish line before you, no matter what. To take a phrase from Dan Campbell, the Lions head coach, he was like, "I'll bite your kneecaps" or whatever, like to get ahead.
Yeah.
And the attitude is just so different. It's like we really don't stand a chance. We got to wake up, because what is it? What's the percentage of women graduating?
I don't know the percentage per
bachelor's?
se, but it's a high percentage.
Can you?
But going back to the age gap thing, I read somewhere that Gen Z are preferring older men, which I find very interesting.
But when I was in high school, a lot of my high school classmates, the females preferred older men. 6 more percent women than men graduate with higher degrees. And you could just see it. You go to work, you open your eyes. I don't really look to the numbers to tell me a lot of things or to formulate my opinions, because people like to look at what other people say, and they take
their opinion
they
from
take
that.
other people's experience to form their own opinion. I'm like, I work in a female-dominated area, and everybody from the CEO to the COO to the director, all that are women, right? So I've become accustomed to working in a space where women are in charge, but they don't throw it in your face like, I'm a woman, I'm in charge, and you don't feel like because you're a man you're being treated less than, right? But I can see the difference in society. Like you could see it, you could feel it. I don't need numbers to tell me. It just confirms what I already knew.
That's good.
But what to your point,
I'm glad you made that observation.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
I feel like you're taking a shot.
No. I'm not taking no shot. I'm not taking a shot. I'm just saying that I'm happy you made that observation.
I'm glad you did your grammarly correction just now.
Yeah. One thing I'm trying to achieve on this show is to not say any double negatives and to make sense all the time and not to use words in the wrong context.
Always remember, it's not live.
I know.
Yeah.
We could actually put that in there.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it in there, and I'm going to keep this in here too. Yeah, I am.
All right, yeah. So, but you were making a point about the age gap.
The age gap between Gen Z and
why they prefer older men.
I didn't really read into it. I was just like, oh, that's very interesting. But I don't feel like we have anything in common with Gen Z.
Oh, we don't.
We don't. So the fact that they like older men, they're obviously going to like millennials and maybe even Gen Z. Not Gen Z, Gen X. We have nothing. I think Gen Z are so far apart from what millennials and Gen X's are. The fact that they want to date people in that generational group is just very weird to me. Because they're very different.
Well, is it, as much as women have changed, do you think the core values of what they look for in a man has? Like, you want a protector, a provider, you want somebody who...
A lot of I feel, I could be wrong, that a lot of Gen Z women want men to just be themselves. That's why you see all of them, they're like all fluid. They're being more exploratory with their sexuality. Like, I don't see any man's man in Gen Z. I don't see that when I see them in the street. I see them being their natural selves. If they want to dress in wild colors, if they want to paint their nails, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, it's crazy. The nail painting is ridiculous. I don't understand it, but whatever.
That's
Teach
their prerogative. Teach their
own.
own. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't see a man's man in Gen Z. I see them more in millennials and more so in Gen X, but I don't see that in Gen Z. So the fact that they promote people being themselves, but they want somebody that's probably more traditional, which is in the generations before them, is kind of weird to me.
I don't even think they know what traditional is anymore. Because by the time they're adults...
Well, if they date somebody who's a millennial, because a lot of millennial men seem to want to...
Well, you have the red pillars that think like that, but I feel there was a statistic also that stated that a lot more fathers are involved in their kids' lives than ever before.
Yeah.
Like, it's astronomical.
Yeah.
And I can speak to that. I'm at everything for my freaking kids, right? And so their norm is not going to be my norm. Like, my norm was my dad went to work. He worked doubles and triples. He came home. He napped. You knew not to mess with him while he was sleeping. You know what I'm saying? He played with you every now.
It's not so much like that anymore.
Yeah, he played with you now and then, but his sole objective was to provide and make sure the roof is over your head, right? Nowadays, there's much more of an emphasis on partnership. It's like we doing this together. We pushing this boat up together. You pick me up when I'm down. I pick you up when you're down and stuff like that. So the tradition for them is the traditional values for them is going to be way different than it was for us.
Yeah.
And it was like a trip for me because when I got married, I was just like, there was this expectation because I saw how my father did it. Right. I saw my mom. She cooked. She cleaned. She did the laundry and all that. She was with the kids most of the time and stuff like that. And she worked. And I, to their credit, they never really argued in front of us. So to me, it just looked like that's how it was supposed to be, right? He out working all day and whatnot, doing his thing, and she's like taking care of us, taking care of the house and whatnot. So initially, when I moved in with my wife and we started, we had Jackson, I was just throwing it back only because I was like, I don't think it's supposed to be like this. I think you're supposed to be doing this, and this.
Because based off what you saw.
But she was like, ain't no way I'm working in as much hours as you. And I'm going to come home.
It has to be 50-50.
To do all this extra stuff too. Because it's not 50-50 if she does that then. Right? It's not even close. It's like 80-20 in my favor. Me doing 20%. And I know now from experience just how much that is taking care of those kids and freaking doing the laundry and working and all that stuff. You come home and it's like you have to get your head in a certain space to be able to function once you get out of work. It's like you gotta pause. I used to laugh at dudes that sat in the car. Like I live in an area where it's just hard to find parking.
Sit in the car, don't want to go inside.
They don't want. I'm like, this dude is unhappy. He don't want to go inside. I used to always make that this thing. I'm like that correlation. I'm like, you sit in the car, you're unhappy.
Decompress before they go in the house.
It's like you get in your mind right to go deal with the crazy kids and your wife and all that stuff because you're not going in there dropping your stuff and chilling on the couch and waiting for dinner. You're going in there to be a willing participant and getting the kids ready for school the next day and making sure the homework is right and all of that stuff. You jumping in where you get in. You know what I'm saying? You just go. So now I get that more than ever. And that's going to be my son's traditional values in his eyes because that's what he saw. Right? So it's gonna be way different.
Yeah. It's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
But I think we covered everything we wanted to talk about today.
Yeah.
Majority of the stuff was not planned.
No,
That's a testament to how the conversations usually go in a typical conversation. So, all right. I'm not introducing myself again.
Well, like I said, I'm Noel, and this is Danielle, and thank you for joining us on our first episode of Random Conversations. We hope to see you again and bring you dope-ass content, all right?
Yeah, this is only the beginning. This is like a trial run.
Nah, this is the real deal. I'm the talent. You're going to see me places, all right? I'm going to be doing things.
Yeah, right?
She a hater. I hope she come back, though, and keep doing like the numbers and stuff because she was clutch. Yeah.
A little research person.
Yeah. she doing this for free.
She soon gonna start charging. For now.
It's like billable hours.
Right. Okay. Nixon 7.
I don't know about that.
Nixon 8.